Bitch!
Welcome to the Unimaginary Podcast. This is Livestream episode 286. It's a conversation with your best friends, and we are your best friends.
I am Nathan Von Edmondson.
I'm Erin Marie, Betty Davis Jr.
And I am DavidMonster.com. Oh, shit.
And if you are not yet a patron.
Patron
No,
Patron
patron of Patreon, please do that. Find us patreon.com/unimaginaryfriend and get some exclusive cool merch if you haven't already.
Oh my god, the gorgeous merch. That's what it is. It's gorgeous merch.
So tonight we are going to start with a follow-up from our last podcast. If you remember, in 2021, way back in 2021, we talked about NFTs, and one of our most cherished listeners felt like we ended too much on a pro NFT point of view, and we didn't really give enough attention to the downsides. So we're going to do a quick follow-up. Nathan's got all that juice for us. But that's
why are we doing this?
Because we are responsible
journalists. Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
We need to make sure everyone's got the entire picture as accurately as we have it. But our main topic tonight is actually about filmmaking. How the heck do you make a film? You may not know that Unimaginary Friend started as and is currently award-winning, not award-winning speakers, award-winning filmmakers. And we have been a filmmaking team. We've done a whole bunch of different films and projects. You can go to unimaginaryfriend.com, and a lot of them are on there now.
You can see our wall of fame behind us.
Awards, projects.
Wow.
The film festival circuit. We have
There's a lot of blockbuster films behind you.
Many.
I know. And we have a latest film right now. It's called Boxes, Boxes, Boxes. Award-winning name, let me tell you.
No, it's called Baxes. But go ahead, sorry.
And right now, we just got it out in the film festival market. It's been nominated so far for Best Comedy Film at the Global Film Festival Awards. And it's going to screen in person at the Oregon Short Film Festival. So it's just starting its film festival run. It's expected to be a darling of the film. Oh, and there's if you're watching live stream, you can see our poster there. Nathan, you might recognize him as one of the stars. So I bring that all up to obviously to gloat about how great we are, but also we do know what we're talking about. And we made a lot of these projects with absolutely nothing, with no money, with no funding, with no major resources. And so we're going to share all the secrets of how we make these projects.
Secrets.
But first.
Oh, wait, Nathan, you're not going to do the NFT thing? Or
We're going to do it right before the episode. After news.
Oh, so stay tuned. Cliffhanger, sorry. But first, God, this is so hard.
All right, breaking news. David,
Okay.
you have 3 pieces of news you're going to dangle in front of us?
So what we're going to do is, it's been a very monotheistic type of thing going on here where you guys get to say what you want to have happen. Now we're going to let the listeners vote. I'm going to give 3 news stories, and they get to vote which one I say. So I'm going to give what they are right now. Number 1 is COVID is so basic. That's number 1. Number 2 is Kim Kardashian crack up for like the 5th podcast in a row that's been dangling there.
For that.
And number 3 is I'm the Chrissy. So vote. So audience members, vote on which one you want to hear, and that's one we're going to hear. And now we're going to go to Erin and Nathan's news, and you have time to vote. So hurry up.
I'll go. Unless you want to go.
I'll go.
Okay.
I want to go.
Okay.
So I am starring in this film that just made it into a whole bunch of film festivals. So I just wanted to make an announcement about that. It's called Baxes.
What's it called? Why have we never heard of it?
I don't know. I just thought I'd bring it up. I'm sorry I haven't been sharing this. So I'm in this film called Baxes. I play this character right
Sorry.
here. And it's a edge of your seat comedy.
It is. It's adorbs. That's not Nathan. That's one of our co-stars, Brittany Timmons, who is actually a part of one of our last blockbuster projects. She was on our Chicago podcast back in 2016 when Trump won the election, and the podcast almost ended violently.
Her name is the brilliant Brittany Timmons.
Yes, and please don't go back and re-listen to that podcast.
It's in the past.
It's the best.
Aaron, news?
My news is that for those of you who don't know, Nathan and we have created a human being who is currently 9 months old. And on Saturday, she walked.
Did you guys lose your shit?
Yeah. It's like this little tiny thing. It's like a little tiny baby that can walk around. It's just bizarre to see. She doesn't even look like a toddler or someone that should be walking on 2 feet.
I've noticed she has a bit of an attitude since then.
Yeah, she all got to her head. So, but that was pretty.
All right,
sad.
I hate to tell you guys this, but from this point on, you can never turn your back on her.
That's
you have to keep eyes on her at every second.
Yeah, we've realized that we've done some serious baby proofing. So.
Yeah,
oh my God,
crazy baby proofing.
Yeah. Yep.
And the first time you take her out of the house, like where there's people, oh my God, it's so scary. Because they don't look like they can run fast now, but when you get out somewhere, they can haul ass.
She can't
She'll be
run
like,
yet, thankfully.
She can only go max.
Yeah.
If there's something dangerous between her and that dangerous thing, she'll sprint. You guys be like, what the fuck? How does she move that fast?
It's like there's a magnet.
That's true. When we
exactly.
Open to her play area, like she crawls so fast it's a blur. You can't even see her trying to get out.
Sometimes she'll like notice it and then start crawling toward it and then look over her shoulder at you to see if you notice and then keep going.
And didn't you win some kind of speed record, Aaron?
Yeah, I have a state championship in high jump, so it's not really much. It's not about speed as much as it is about height.
Oh, I thought you also ran speed, but maybe she'll catch your genes.
I did run. I ran speed.
What's that mean?
Hooligan Mom is on, and thank you, but listeners, you still haven't voted on the news story you want to hear from me. But anyways, keep going, you guys.
I think woohoo means the Kim Kardashian story.
No, it doesn't. It means the first one about COVID.
You want to hear more about COVID? I'm so sick of COVID.
I'm so excited about it. It's just like it's like every day it's fresh and exciting.
Gift that keeps on giving.
Sometimes I'm in my car and I like to listen to NPR because there's a couple shows I like Radiolab and Wait, Don't Tell Me and stuff. They start talking about COVID, bam! I hit whatever button I can without looking because I will not sit and listen about COVID ever again, ever.
Well,
so
offered that as a news story.
Yeah, what the heck?
So here's the stories again. Number 1, COVID is so basic. Number 2, Kim Kardashian crack up. And number 3, I'm the Chrissy. So which news story do you guys want to hear since the listeners don't seem to give a shit?
Number 1.
Oh.
Kardashian.
Oh, wait.
Kardashian.
Thank you.
Wait.
Thank
For
you.
the love of God, no Kim K. Our listener says Aunt Josie says, for the love of God, no Kim K.
I agree.
I hear ya.
Chrissy.
Oh, I think that,
Right.
Chrissy, Nancy Von Edmondson Jr. is the goddess of the podcast. I think she wins.
Okay.
I think so.
All right.
Tell us.
This is breaking news. Breaking news. You guys ready? You got to brace yourselves. So I realized that I'm the Chrissy of the podcast.
What?
Nathan is the Jack. Aaron is the Janet. And in terms you guys might understand, I'm the Phoebe, Aaron is the Monica, and Nathan is the Rachel. Or
David, you just got pitch black.
what just happened?
You just
Everything just went out.
This is why we need Patreon subscribers, patrons. Oh, there you go. So I get that.
If you're watching, all my lights and everything just went out.
Wow.
Or I'm the Joey, Nathan is no. I'm the
Joey.
I'm the
Chandler.
No, I think you're the Joey. I'm the Chandler. No. Ross. I'm not the Ross.
She's the
yeah.
Ross.
Aaron is the Ross.
Why is that obvious?
Nathan is the Joey. I'm the Jill, though. Nathan is the Kelly, and Aaron is the Sabrina.
I don't know
100%.
I don't know what that last show is, or the first one, what the Chrissy is.
Jill, Janet, and Chrissy. Hello, Marika or Nancy Von Edmondson Jr. Can you help me out?
This is Three's Company.
Chrissy, Janet, and Jack. Or here, I have a couple more of them. Oh wait, I wrote I'm the Chandler. I don't want to be the Chandler. I'm the Bobby. Nathan is the Greg, and Aaron is the Peter. 100%.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, here's
David.
Bobby, Greg, and Peter.
What shows?
You don't know who Bobby, Greg, and Peter are?
Apparently not.
All right, people, listeners, you have to castigate Nathan for not knowing who Bobby, Greg, and Peter are.
I've only known.
All right, let me help you out. I'm the Cindy. Aaron is the Jan, and Nathan is the Marsha.
I told you we should have did the COVID one.
Okay.
Wait, no, here I have one that Nathan's gonna like. I have one that Nathan's really gonna like. Where'd it go? I'm the Luke. Aaron is the Leia, and Nathan is the Han.
Okay.
Don't you think? I mean,
sure.
Don't you think?
Because you're like comedic relief, or like what is it that makes you these people?
Just it's the most, because like Leia's in charge. She's the one who cracks the whip, so that's you, Aaron.
Oh no.
Han is the cocky one who like thinks he get any chick, so that's Nathan. And I'm the goofy one who shoots swamp rats at 300 parsecs or whatever. All right, here I have one for you, Aaron. I'm the Michelle. Aaron is the middle one, whoever she is, and Nathan is the DJ. Or I'm the Kimmy. I'm either the Kimmy or the Michelle.
Yeah, wait. Jodie Sweetin isn't in charge. Or Stephanie.
So wait, all right, then you're the DJ. No, you're right. You're the DJ, and Aaron is the middle one that nobody knows her name.
Her name is Stephanie.
Stephanie, that little bitch.
I feel like that should have been my news, is that two people that were extremely important in my two favorite shows of all time passed away in the last couple weeks, which was Betty White. And actually, damn it, why are we not covering Betty White? Because today would have been our 100th birthday.
Oh, wow.
Damn it.
Bad episode choice.
Sorry, Rose Nyland.
I know. Why didn't we? Who in the research department let us down on that one?
That's my bad. Maybe that'll be a future episode. But also Danny Tanner, Bob Saget, who was actually in the went to my alma mater at Temple University in Philly. He passed away as well. So those are.
I didn't know that. I mean, I knew that he passed away, but I didn't know it was Temple. And someone who was on one of my favorite shows growing up when I was in high school, or when I was not in. I was like in junior high. I forget, junior high or high school.
Like, you got to figure out how to lie about your age when you do these things.
Wait, shut up. Dwayne Hickman, who was Dobie Gillis. You guys probably have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, Dobie. Mm-hmm.
Dobie! All the girls go crazy for Dobie. I love Dobie Gillis. That's where Warren Beatty got his start. That's where Tuesday Weld got her start. It was a great show. I love it. And it was not in the news at all. It was like Betty White, but no Dwayne Hickman. And then Bob Faggot and no Dwayne Hickman.
We also have to point out that Sidney Poitier died. So that
he wasn't on one of my favorite TV shows.
Of course. However, one of the co-stars is a big fan of our show. So
that's true. Someone who played his son once, and who was crushed. Actually, it was crushing for this person to hear that news, and it's very sad, and our hearts go out. Because Sidney Poitier was a Nash Treasure. Actually, Betty White was a Nash Treasure too, 100%.
Yeah.
Bob Faggot, he was well liked, but I wouldn't consider him a Nash Treasure. Would you?
Depends on.
I think
I might. He was like my TV Robin Williams. Like, Robin Williams felt like a very important celebrity figure in my life, and like Danny Tanner was that, but in the TV world. Because I didn't watch like Friends or anything. I mean, that was also later. So.
All right. So Nancy Von Edmondson Jr. says, I loved Dobie too, David. You are my age or a little younger? No, I'm
Not your age.
I think I'm older. I think we figured out I'm older than you, Nancy.
Nope.
Isn't Dobie the house elf from Harry Potter?
No.
Yeah, I'm a 12.
No, Dobie Gillis.
All right.
Dobie.
Let's
He's
move forward. We got
let's go backward.
all right.
We have a bunch of stuff to cover. Let's do our gold star.
Gold star, gold star, gold star, gold star, gold star, gold star, gold star.
2022 goes to, and this is not because they have been reigning the land for 70 years, but the Queen of England, because she ordered solar panels on all of her castles after she met with some dude that engineered them. And I'm pretty sure they probably had sex.
What?
100%. That's how the deal is done. Bam, bam. And the news story, I don't know if this is true because you can't believe news stories because sometimes publicity works different ways. Supposedly, she just met him at a reception, found out he did this, and then said, "I want my palaces to be solar energy. It's very responsible for the future." We don't know if that's true, but it's still cool. It's still a happening thing to do.
And yeah, she's ruled as in the head of the royal family for 70 years. That just happened.
Longest of any royalty.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's a long time. That's not why she got the gold star. You do not get a gold star for being the ruler
Queen
of the royal family.
And for being supposedly racist, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
She's
Yeah,
from another
but
time.
she's from that's not really an excuse.
She's from a different era.
All right, Nathan, can you give us the follow-up?
Okay,
NFTs?
so if you were inspired by our NFT show, you're a terrible person.
Uh-oh.
If you purchase an NFT, you're going to hell.
Is that the follow-up?
That's the follow-up.
All right, moving on.
Oh, just kidding. So we had one of our listeners reach out to us who has a lot of information about NFTs, has been following this world, and just was concerned that we weren't pointing out some of the potential negatives of NFTs. We were just really excited and ready to turn like our toilet paper.
Turn the party. Ready to turn the party, bitch. But
ahead. Apparently there are some risks, and we just wanted to point those out to our listeners. So one, and we covered this a little bit in our cryptocurrency episode, is that there's an environmental impact of NFTs. So anytime you create something on the blockchain, you are using a certain amount of energy. So depending on what blockchain it's being created on, it can take a lot of energy or less energy. Apparently the Ethereum blockchain is aiming to reduce this cost dramatically, so it'll be less of a concern, but it still is a concern that we're just like burning lots of energy to make NFTs. This I wasn't aware of, but as soon as he brought it to my attention, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Apparently a lot of artists are getting screwed. So people are scouring the internet, stealing artists' art, and then creating NFTs out of them and selling them as their own.
Oh, of course that's happening.
Yeah, so they're just going around and like finding JPEGs of crap and being like, hey, buy this thing that I created and blah, blah, blah. So that
How do you stop that?
Well, we'll get to that in a second. Then we kind of talked about this as well with cryptocurrency, where there's kind of like the pump and dump scheme where people will promote.
Excuse me?
Exactly. People will promote a cryptocurrency or an NFT, and it's kind of like multi-level marketing, like getting a whole bunch of people to buy into it, drive up the price, and then, you know, they drop all these NFTs and they run away with the money. And it's really, they're not going to be able to resell it. It really doesn't have the cachet that they hope it will have. This is happening sometimes where when you're sold an NFT, apparently you get a link to the item you bought and a token, and then later you'll go back to the link to see your item, and the link is broken. So you get a link to the item, like a link to the image, like this is what you bought. And then you get a token that represents your ownership on the blockchain, but the link will just sometimes disappear. And then it's like you can't show, because often it's just like a Google spreadsheet link or something like that.
That is so ugly.
So then it's like, I bought this thing. See, I own this thing. And then it's like, well, what is the thing? I can't show you the thing.
That's horrible.
right? So
We were really negligent in our reporting on
so negligent.
NFTs.
We're gonna lose our journalism license.
Handing our badge after
This
this.
is right.
It's okay. We're tearing up Hollywood, but go ahead. Yeah.
So apparently you can see the transactions, but you can't see who actually buys NFTs on the ledger. But you can see how much it's worth. So sometimes what artists have been doing is buying it themselves multiple times in a row and pumping up the price that way, like selling it and buying it from themselves for $500, then buying it from themselves for like $5,000, then buying it from themselves for $10,000. And people are like, oh my God, this thing is going to the moon. And then
That's such a good idea.
The next person will buy it, be like, this is going to be worth $20,000. And really, it's not worth anything more than what the artist said it was.
Okay, I've completely done a 180. I think NFTs are total garbage.
Okay, so
My new stance.
Okay, well, there is potentially some hope in the sense that our listener believes that these will sort themselves out in the future, and the transactions and the ownerships eventually will be properly vetted and tracked better, maybe with like watermarks or something like that. I don't know how they would do that, but so buyer beware, I guess.
Lady beware, yes.
Thank you for that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's really important.
Well, listeners, we're really sorry.
And that was from our listener who was a previous guest of ours, Jim DeTillo, who's a genius. So be sure and go back and listen.
Genius.
And he's also someone that you can support on Patreon.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm a supporter of his.
Excellent.
All right, well, let's get into our main topic, which is filmmaking. David's got it all organized beautifully for us.
I do.
That's what he said in the pre-show.
That's right.
So we're hoping.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to do it interview style as I'm interviewing the three of us, and then we'll take up questions as they go. And then if I forget something, you guys can just chime in. So the first question is a broad question. I'm going to have a couple follow-up questions. What is it like to make a low-budget film? And when we're talking low budget, what budget are we talking?
Who is this question for?
I think who has the most experience launching the production, like money and all that stuff? So Aaron.
I'm usually producer. So as a producer, you usually handle budget, any kind of money.
Low budget is below $40 million.
Well, if you're talking to us, or I think in the indie film world, it's like under like 500,000 might be considered low budget.
Yeah.
For us,
could you imagine
under like $2,000, and that's with no like things coming out, like all the whatever expenses you have coming out of your own pocket.
And when you say under $2,000, you mean under $2,000?
Boxes cost probably close to $2,000.
It did?
When all is said and done, yeah. Cool. Also because I bought a ton of stuff for that project, thinking that I could return them when we were done. But what I didn't know is that in the middle of filming, we'd have to go on lockdown for coronavirus, and we wouldn't be able to shoot the rest until 6 months later. So I couldn't return anything. So I got stuck with the bill.
But we've made shorts for considerably less than that.
We've made like depending
$0.
on depends on what you want to do, you can spend no money.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of misleading in a way too, because we have equipment. So if you don't have equipment, like I was just thinking, our first film, I was like, oh, we spent nothing on Number 9, which was like this film we made years and years and years ago. But we rented equipment. We had to rent a camera. We had to rent the space that we shot
did
in.
It through my school though.
Yeah, but we still had to pay for it. I
Did
think. I think so. Maybe
as
not.
a student, you didn't have to.
Maybe we didn't. Okay, so we lucked out that way potentially. I know we edited it for free.
Yeah.
But
the three of us made another film that was an award winner called Yes and I Do, that I think cost $43 to make because Aaron had all the equipment.
it goes a little bit more than that, but not much more.
So
it was maybe like
costume-
$500.
Yeah, costume, and then you
500?
Maybe.
probably you have
Where-
to think about
I
food
didn't-
for
oh.
people to feed people, and then
That's
you can even
right.
factor in like gas money for people to get around.
The diamond ring I needed for that.
Yeah. Oh, it was a $5,000 film.
No, but
That's not even taking
really,
account.
why it might have actually been over 500 was film festival fees.
Exactly.
So each
Oh, okay.
We're invited.
We're going to be talking about film festivals later. So just to make the film,
Just production.
yeah,
You're just talking
it
just
costs $43. Yeah, it costs maybe $90.
So one thing Erin pointed out though to me today is she's like, you can make a film on your phone, stupid.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like, I don't have a camera, just everyone's got an iPhone, it seems like, or some kind of smartphone.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw the web series Awkward Black Girl
No.
by Issa Rae. She shot it a lot on her iPhone and on other crap. The quality is not good, but that web series got her her series Insecure, which HBO bought and put on HBO. So it was shot on partly on phones and just cheap cameras and stuff.
Do you know how it sounded? I'm curious to see how it sounded. Not that it matters.
I really loved it. I loved the web series. Sometimes it didn't sound great, but I didn't care. You heard echoes. You heard all the things that filmmakers try to get rid of. Didn't matter. Her acting was so good, and some of the actors weren't great, but she did a good job. And I understand why she got the offer from HBO, because it was like the quality of the material was good and it was funny.
What was the web series called? I'm curious to check it out, actually.
Awkward Black Girl.
Is that a Freudian slip?
Angry Black Girl. God, I did it again. Awkward Black Girl. I'm not racist, I swear. Awkward Black Girl, and it's if you've ever seen Insecure, you can see where it came from. All right, our next question. Let's just forget all that. All right. How much money do you need, and where do you get the money? Is it easy to get the money? I'm sure it is.
Listen,
This is a good question.
This is an impossible question because we have to start at the very beginning. And maybe I need to do that because it's what is it that you're trying to do? Is it like, do you have an idea in your head that you want to see happen, like a music video or something? Is it like, do you have something like a script that you want to write? Do you have like an actor that's really talented that you want to do something with that person? Was there a song? Like we've done films that just like we were inspired by a song and it was just a soundtrack under a silent film. Is it like you want to use a location? It's like it really depends.
All right, let me cut down because I have another question I should have asked first. How do you find a good script to shoot?
You don't always need to start with a script. You can start with an idea and then write a script.
Yeah, I would say so. With the script, you don't need a script, but scripts help. So you can write it yourself, or you can collaborate with someone who has a script that they want to create. You can go to the library and find the screenplay of your favorite movie and just shoot that. Whatever. Maybe not.
Well, you guys are both kind of writers, right? And you were lucky to find me who writes award-winning films. But you guys are both kind of writers, so you never had to worry about writing a script, right?
Well, we're both creative people. So,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean that you need to go out and buy an expensive script writing software and it has to be formatted in the traditional way. If you go online and see a script, it's got very specific spacing and indenting, and you don't have to do that. You can just bullet point like shots in your head and lines you want people to say. It can be really informal. Just depends on what you have and what you want to do.
Yeah, it's really just a roadmap to make sure when you're actually shooting and are taking people's time, if you're using other people in your shoot, so that you can know what's next and move on. So
Box has never had a formal script. It was just a shot list.
that's true.
Yeah, we did an outline. Yeah, we did an outline. You're right, an outline. Yeah, you're right. That's right. Well, it's semi-silent-ish.
It is. We agonize, and we had multiple we call them writers' rooms, where 4 of us and our 4th partner Ian was the star. 4 of us would sit down in a room and just come up with the plot, like what happens here, then what happens, then what happens, then what happens. And that was a huge process, because it's like, okay, here are all these grand ideas. How do we do it with no money and no resources? So then you have to scale it back, and then maybe, we could do this with a green screen, or we can do this. And, so that was our writing process, but it might just be you like writing down ideas on a paper.
Yeah. And as I remember it with Boxes, didn't the pandemic shutdown hit the day we started shooting?
No, it hit. We had the final scene to do. We had done 3/4 of the film. Remember, we were shooting that stairwell, and that night at 9 p.m., Los Angeles lockdown, where you couldn't leave your house.
That's right. It was that.
Up till like 5 p.m. that day.
That was
and how much? And so you guys found this amazing stairwell to shoot in. How much does it cost to rent a stairwell and shoot in a stairwell?
Well, we do something called guerrilla style filming, which is sometimes illegal, but if you're not making a lot of money on your film, or like promoting a product that's going to then make a lot of money, you can often get away with filming with small crews and little equipment in nondescript spaces. So obviously we're not going to go to like, what's a really well-known place?
Independence Hall.
Yeah, like the Liberty Bell, and shoot something there without permission, because we get kicked out in 2 seconds. But like a random stairwell in a parking garage somewhere in Los Angeles, like we just kind of did it, and nobody bothered us.
And how did we find? Oh yeah.
I was just going to say, with locations, it can be anything you want. It could be, you can write according to what locations you have available and create the film around that. You can ask your friends. Like, it can be very inexpensive or completely free for locations, or you can choose to spend money on something like that. Just real quick about writing and constraints, like budgetary constraints. Like, I feel like sometimes having no budget is great for creativity. So constraints, you should embrace whatever constraints you have and work within those. And I was going to say something about writing your. Pixar films are these animated films that everyone loves, and everyone cries at them. They're like, they're so good, and they're good because they spend a lot of time writing the story, because they're going to spend years animating it. So it has to be good. So I feel like there's a strong lesson to remember there.
Someone called you a hunk.
Oh, Darren.
So you are the Joey of this trio.
He's the Joey. How you doing? Because I would encourage people to write with what you have, because we have these grand notions of scaling buildings and stuff, and we're like, how are we gonna do that? How are we gonna have these huge stairwells? And it took a lot. Like it took time, and I would encourage people to figure out what they have and write to that, instead of trying to think that they can shoot a skyscraper like we thought and have someone climb it.
David's referring to a scene in the film that we shot where we had to keep, it's kind of a live action cartoon where we had to keep one-upping the situations. They had to get more and more absurd. And we were kind of at a point where we're like, okay, he needs to do something big. And that ended up being scaling a skyscraper. And obviously, how are we going to do that without any money and like an aerial crew? And we had to get really creative with that. We ended up doing it with a green screen, and it worked out pretty well. I mean, it's funny. It's like campy and silly, but that's also the style of the film that we're making.
Totally. Someone thinks you're beautiful. I think someone's up for three-way tonight.
We'll talk after the podcast.
So there was one question I didn't get to about money. Like, people are really supportive of the arts, and they really want to get involved with helping you raise money and give you money to shoot your films, I'm sure, right?
Oh, I feel like we didn't answer your previous question.
Which was
how is it easy to find money? The answer is no. It's very difficult.
But people, I'm sure, really want to give you your money. They really want to support arts and help you make a film.
Well, you can look for producers to invest. And you can also do GoFundMes, right? You can put your project on like a GoFundMe,
I've had people say this to me, like, why don't you just do a GoFundMe? So it must be easy to put a project up on GoFundMe and just get money, right, you guys?
I think some people are able to do that successfully.
Some people can. If you're social media savvy and you have really generous friends and family,
you have a really exciting concept and you're able to sell that. I think we've done one or two, and I think we raised some money off of.
I think we raised more money when we did a GoFundMe to get our cat's broken leg fixed than any film that we've ever done. People were more willing to contribute, which is funny because like a lot of the projects we spent the most time on, we post and no one watches, but we'll put a link up that Jesus broke her leg and like everybody's, oh my God, everybody wants to contribute. And
I mean, that feels more immediate in a way. You know, I think sometimes with creative projects, it's funny because even big stars have done things equivalent to a GoFundMe or have done GoFundMe, like the main star from Scrubs.
I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah, it's a few years ago. He made a movie, Garden State, that was produced and funded by studios and was very successful, and it was an excellent film. And he did a follow-up film, and I don't know if he just wasn't getting the funding he wanted or he wanted more control. So he did a GoFundMe or some equivalent. And his point of view and a lot of people's point of view is like, now the audience gets to be an owner of this. They get to be a part of the process, which is kind of cool. And there's perks that you get, like maybe you get your name in the titles. And this was like a big, theatrically released film. But he got so much shit from people, saying that, oh, you're a millionaire. You could have what you raised, you could have just spent this yourself and made the film yourself. And now you're getting your fans to like pay for it. And then they're going to buy tickets and go see it. It's like, so things like that have gone through different phases of like acceptance, I'd say.
But also I read about this when not only when preparing for this, but in the past, I've read that certain projects like that they bring up, like, ooh, this guy raised money on that. And one of the people was the guy from Scrubs. They said that some of these people that have this great success doing it already have the funding in place, and they do it through GoFundMe. So like they already know that they're going to get the funding. So like
they're already green the studio, you mean?
Well, they already know. Yeah, they already have a what do you call it? They already have what is it called? They already have the they already have the funding. The people who want to fund it are already in place. They're not necessarily studios, but then they'll have like people to secure it, saying like, if you don't do it, I'll fill in the rest.
They have like
yeah. So they're like, oh, we did it with you GoFundMe, but it's like it's really not as clean cut as we think it is, because I read somewhere that like nobody has ever done a huge project on GoFundMe or any of those that is as big as you think. The smaller ones, yeah. But I know a filmmakeress that's like, yeah, GoFundMe. I do all my things through that. And what I found out is she would get partial, like not even a fraction, like maybe 25% of what she needed through the fans and things like that. And then the rest her parents would cover afterwards.
Okay.
So she would, and she even criticized us once for saying like, oh, you guys complain about like not because like I do things through GoFundMe. And then when I found that out, it was like, fuck you. Yeah, like if our parents backed everything too, we would have the same confidence going in too, bitch. Like so it's like the things happening on GoFundMe and those platforms aren't happening as you think they're happening.
I think funding in general is bizarre, and it's been changing dramatically. So now it's like streaming services are just like, they have so many billions of dollars. They can just like greenlight anything they want. Now, go watch a film from 20 years ago. At the beginning, it's produced by usually like one studio. Now you can watch any film below a certain caliber in terms of blockbustability. How about that? It's less guaranteed to make money back. And there are so many different production companies that are invested in that film. Sometimes it's like 7 different names will pop up at the beginning of a film, and you'll see like, oh, it's like the Warner Brothers thing. And it wouldn't be Warner's Brothers, but it'd be like all these different ones, and they're spreading the risk. So these are like business enterprises. And I think on our scale with small films, or, if you're just starting out, it isn't as much of a business enterprise unless you're just trying to launch your own business. Like the goal is to like get to the next one. It's not really to make money now. So investors on our level aren't getting a return. But even for the projects where they're looking for a return, it's so risky now to make your money back. I mean, it's always been risky with film. I mean, it's just like, how many films make money? I don't know. But it's
true. People won't fund small films because there is no market for them. Like, you can't go to a theater and watch them. Streaming online makes no money. So yeah, it's really sad. It's a very sad thing. And the audience is not willing to pay for small films. And I found that out through that same filmmaker who put her films in, like, she was a lesbian filmmaker and she had gay content, and through gay distributors, and they just don't pay. Like, they paid her very, very little for it. And, with, a guarantee of like percentage if it comes through, but people aren't paying. People aren't buying. There's so much streaming content out there. People don't pay or buy for anything anymore.
I mean, now
it's really sad.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal. You're like, things are, you can get something on Netflix or Amazon, and, we know a lot of filmmakers who get stuff on those platforms. How much money do they make from it? I'm not sure. We don't have anything on there. You probably will soon.
Not that much.
It'll end up somewhere.
But I mean, sometimes people just have money to throw at this stuff. Like there was just, through my, going through social media and following people who are in the industry. There was this filmmaker who, she graduated from film school. She directed, she directed a film. She got some big stars in it, or notable stars enough that she was in like the Hollywood Reporter. You get like a little paragraph about a film being made. It looks like it's going to be a big deal. Or it is at least a big enough deal to get some notice. And then you watch the film and it's like not good. Like the script isn't good. It ends up on platforms, but like you can tell that it was just paid for out of pocket, and then you see, oh, they're low. It's like, that's just the way it is though. So.
Yeah. It's sad because most films aren't good. So when you get to small budget films, they're really not good. They're not even good quality, most of them. And I noticed that human beings tend to, like, for the majority, most human beings are basic, and they tend to like things that other human beings like. They tend to go in a stream up with everybody else. So if someone likes a blockbuster, sure, they'll go see it. That's why movies make money. Like, they just throw money at these big, stupid movies because people will go see them and they'll make some money somewhere. But small budget films, like, nobody says they like them, so people aren't like, all right, I'll see them. They're like, I don't know.
I wish I could remember.
All right,
just real quick, I wish I could remember this filmmaker I was listening to recently. He was being interviewed on a YouTube channel, and he was criticizing blockbuster films right now. And he was like, you have so much money and you messed up Star Wars. You have so much money and you messed up these franchises that people just love, for example. Like, how can the studio, he's like, just so angry at these franchises. And he's like, now with independent films or smaller budget films, he looks at it as like a glass is half full, like, because you don't have the money to do something amazing. So you like forgive. And I like the idea of it in his mind. These lower budget things, you kind of have to forgive a lot of the mistakes because they don't have the support. They don't have the huge budget, the huge crew and staff and all that stuff. So
yeah.
This is maybe a little side tangent, but anytime someone's like, that example is like, Disney like wrecked Star Wars, for example, but this happens with a lot of different things that people love. It's like, did they, or did you just not like it? It's like, it's so subjective, and they're trying to open up Star Wars to a whole new audience, so it's probably geared towards like younger people, and it's like so many people loved it, didn't love it. Does that mean like they for sure messed it up? It's just like, it's subjective. It's art, It's like, you can't definitively say that.
Well, I know fans get mad if you fuck with the canon of a franchise. Like X-Men, they got mad because they changed facts and stuff, which I think is stupid. I did get mad at that with Wonder Woman. These new Wonder Woman films are just trash. And Gal Gadot, God love her. Sure, she's pretty. Bitch can't act. Bitch cannot act.
I have no skin in the game. The fact that you said I don't feel anyway, but like I didn't mind the Wonder Woman film. Like it's just like just depends on where you are.
It's just as dumb as everything you've seen, right? That's how you felt about it. It's just as dumb as every blockbuster I've seen, right? Is that the way you felt? Or were you like, this is a great movie?
No, it's just like superhero movies just fall into one bucket for me. They're all like...
Yeah, so it's just as dumb as every other superhero.
Plot. They're all trying to save the universe or save the world.
But even within that world, there's some films that are better than others, or they capture some magic. And I think that's what everyone's trying to do when they make a film is like, or what you want your experience to be when you see a film of any genre, of any budget is like, were they able to capture that magic? And that's like an artistic thing that's hard to do no matter what. And it's kind of rare, I'd say. And there's just endless content now. So there's maybe more chances that will happen, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it is subjective too. So someone's magic isn't going to be someone else's magic.
Yeah.
So.
We have a listener that
also
them on a platform or start one that charges 25 cents to view content. If it gains traction, start charging more.
I'd love to do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Use your website.
Let's put all our content up.
Our content is
I would love to do
at unimaginaryfriend.com.
Go to unimaginaryfriend.com. There's tons of content. There's tons of films you can watch. You'll be so entertained.
Our entire travel show for free.
That's true.
Yep.
For free. Wow. Before you better hurry up before it costs 25 cents.
Exactly.
It's like I've said though, they're putting so much money into films and everything, and the film world has progressed so much with special effects and all that. But I don't understand why they don't put $12 into a decent script. Like scripts are so bad, and you see it in streaming because well-written, smart shows do well. So it's like, oh, we see that because before it'd be like, well, you have to dumb it down for the masses, and it's like, no, you don't. The well-written, smart shows do well. They become high-rated, and people talk about them. So you can have smart movies that are written well, and it's just. It's infuriating. The James Camerons and the Steven Spielbergs, they're so fucking just infuriating and stupid, and we should be able to punch them in the face full force is what we should be able to do because they're such terrible filmmakers.
Can you take me out of me there? Because I think there's lots of great films that those people have made. And this is, again, it's subjective. You don't like it. I like some of them,
I think one thing, I think there's a subjective point with especially those like big filmmakers who obviously are calling out the shots. But a lot of these, say like some of the superhero or franchise films, like there's so many cooks in the kitchen that this is one thing I've heard where it's like they're going through so many, like we have to do this and we have to do this. And then they, do this screening and like got this feedback. We do this change. And then this producer wants to have this, so like sometimes I think scripts get lost with, you look at some big blockbusters or big films and there'll be like 6 screenwriters. So, it'll be rewritten.
Just terrible. It's just terrible. All right. I want to wrap up the film part because we have to get to the festival part. What you have to do is one of the reasons we've been able to make films is because we have Erin, who not only can shoot and has her own equipment, but she loves to edit all night long. She doesn't have anything else to do. And that's what it is. We have saved money because editing. If you don't know how to edit or if you don't have an editor on your team, that can cost you a ton of money. But Erin just loves, she's like, I want a new project I can edit, you guys. Anything, I don't care. So we just have done the project because, she'll just, whatever. She'll get rid of her baby if she has to. But don't you guys think, like, we lucked out, like, that's such a core to making films is having someone who can shoot it and edit it. And we have that, and we've lucked out.
That's why Unimaginary Friend is a force, because we have all the bases covered with all of us. We're like the Avengers.
No, that's perfect.
Or Power Rangers.
Sure, we're that too. With our powers.
Ooh, I get to be the pink Power Ranger.
Nothing else to do. She has a small child. I do have a small child, and I'm very busy. But.
Yeah. She don't care.
Yeah, things take a lot longer now.
But that's it. Like, and it is hard if you don't have, because even like since you've been gone, I wrote another project and I was supposed to do it with somebody else. We didn't have anyone to shoot it, and that like trying to find someone to shoot it for free is huge, and trying to find someone to edit it is nearly impossible.
Unless you're gonna pay someone, people don't want to work for free. And like, yeah, we all like, if we're all like excited about something, we'll all put our heart and souls into it and use our skills to make it happen. But it is really, I was gonna say, like, to start this off, the first thing you need, like my absolute advice, what you absolutely need are people that you want to work with, that you can work with, and that you can rely on, and that are like see eye to eye. And doesn't mean that they have to agree with everything. It's good to have some conflict, but it's really, 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 really hard to find creative partners that work well together.
That's
and
so
if you
really
can
hard.
That, hold on to them, chain yourselves together, and roll with it.
Yeah, and that's something to look for, like what skill sets people have. So like find collaborators who can bring different skill sets, or you can just do it yourself. Like you can figure this stuff out yourself. It just is going to take a little bit longer, and then you have to like reconcile quality sometimes, right?
Filmmaking's hard to do yourself, but it depends on the concept. Like if you wanted to do something that was like in selfie mode and you following yourself around, like there can be some like avant-garde, like indie concept where you don't need anyone else. You could do it all yourself, literally, and there's no edits. It's just a single take of you going through your day. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, I mean,
in general, that you will need someone else. You will
right,
need a team of people to help.
Yeah, but you're right. Never before has it been so easy to make a movie and to edit a movie, because there's tons of platforms like even like programs for like editing Instagram videos and shit like that you can do a project. The field is open now. You don't have to do it the same way it was done before. Like there's tons of different ways to do it.
Yeah, you bring up a good point with social media. I feel like, is filmmaking kind of dead or dying in a way? Like everything's shifting in such a way where it's like, when we started, it was all like, we want to get into Sundance, or we want to get into this big film festival. And then it's like, oh, well, there's all these other, let's get into these film festivals. And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of film festivals, especially around the world. There's probably thousands. But I think people are just, now it's like you make content for YouTube, or you make content for Instagram or TikTok, and you're going to have a greater chance of having your work seen that way than getting into this festival or that festival. Well, it's like, I feel like things are just different now.
You know what would be an amazing project? You know what we should do? We should make a feature-length film, but scene by scene on TikTok, like 3 minutes at a time.
That sounds like
that would be a fucking amazing.
Sounds like my worst nightmare is what you're describing.
But we would go viral and people would love it. There are people that just want to see it that way. That's
you know what I hate? You know what I hate? Vertical filming.
You can.
Oh, I hate vertical filming.
People turn it sideways. What were you gonna say?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
No.
Here, anybody want to read? We got a good comment from our listener.
Oh no, I was gonna say. Sorry, I was gonna say that. Like you're saying that filmmaking's dead and it's like YouTube and TikTok, but isn't that just short form filmmaking? Isn't it kind of the same thing?
It is. It's just I
feel
like
less production and we're like less quality value, which is something that I pride myself in, is like having good quality sound, a good quality visual and lighting. And I mean, the world that we're living in now are TikToks, and people just can do whatever, and it can look like shit and sound like shit, and they get they get all the views. So
here's an example. El Mariachi was a film by Robert Rodriguez. He made it for himself. He made it for $10,000, right? Shot it on film. I think it went to Sundance. I mean, it launched his career, and we've seen what his career has done since then. There was a film made this past year that was launched based on a series of tweets, like just a story told in tweet form, turned into a film. So, yeah. Things are a little different now.
I agree. Here, we need to catch up on the comments.
Okay.
TV Actor Traveler says, Aaron and Nathan are amazing talents.
Oh, you too, David.
As an afterthought. Thank you, TV Actor Traveler.
Boy, Darren, I love you all. Oh, thanks, Darren.
That's nice. And then there's a super long one from Aunt Josie, if anyone wants to read that.
It sounds like the way the music industry changed so quickly when artists could release their own music after posting a video on YouTube, etc., without having to be signed to a record label.
It's true. It's changing. It's not dead. It's evolving, and it has to evolve. It's evolved so much since, you know, the turn of last century when it started.
I just read an interview with, I think it was Ethan Coen or one of the Coen brothers who did the new Shakespeare Macbeth. And he was saying that he wouldn't have a career. The only reason he has a career is because direct to video or VHS became a thing. So if his movies were expected to make money in the theater, he wouldn't have a career. But since he was his films were able to make money later on VHS, he was able to continue making films for decades now. So
it takes smart people to finagle whatever, or to utilize whatever's happening. That's smart, whatever that is. I don't know. And I want to say one thing I hate in new like visual content people that I hate is on platforms. They clickbait is such a thing now. Clickbait is an art form on its own. Well, there'll be a video of a person or something that looks like it's going to be something, and it'll say like, I don't know, it'll say something interesting, and then you go to it and it's just someone going like this, bopping to music, and then like text will come up like, she told me I was wrong, but I wasn't. And that's it. That's the whole thing. And it's like,
oh my God,
stop. Yes. Nothing you do is interesting. You know, 99% of the people in this world are not interesting in any way. But go ahead.
What I always fall for? It's the clickbait ones, and they're like 20 minutes long. They're really long, and it's like, wait to see his reaction. And it's like some girl is like got a fake pregnant belly, and she's like, I'm gonna go to my ex-boyfriend's house and show him that I'm pregnant. And then it's like 19 and a half minutes of lead up and nothing happens, and then it's all staged and it's fake and it's terrible, and then you hate yourself for losing 20 minutes.
We should be able to punch those people in the face full force. That
like,
should be a new law.
Yeah.
It infuriates me. Okay, let's talk about film festivals. I came across, this is funny because when I was doing research on it, I came across this. Someone wrote, what's the point?
Asking us that?
So why enter film festivals? What's the point?
Is that for me?
I have some answers, but you can go first.
I have lots of answers. You can argue that there's no point. I'm not someone asking that. I'm like, I understand that. But basically the point is for people to see the film that aren't you and your family and friends. Even if it's just a panel of judges.
And sometimes it's just your family and friends. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when you make something at a certain level, even if it's just a panel of people at the festival, but usually there'll be an in-person screening and a couple of people will show up. If it's a short program, they'll jam-pack like 5 or 6 films together, and then you have all of their people and their audiences and those filmmakers. So you get other people seeing your work. In general, it's, I think, mostly a way to connect with other filmmakers, to network, to get yourself out there, to potentially find new people to collaborate with. And in some, like, depending on the level of festival you're in, if you're in some of the big festivals like South by Southwest, Sundance, Tribeca, Cannes, you're there to sell your film to a distributor. So it just depends on the level you're at, but there's lots of things, especially at those big festivals. It's like you're selling yourself, and you're selling your next project, and you're selling your current film, and you're hopefully making money.
And if you're, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the only thing I think you missed is it's a way to get laurels for your self-made film to make yourself look good on social media. To your friends.
What's the most important?
I think he's joking, but like having someone select your film and give you laurels is like a legitimate credit. Someone else that's not your friends and family have decided that your film has merit. Your film is good in some way, even if it's like the competition is not that fierce. Someone else has decided that your film is worthy. It has value.
That's a good point.
And I think that means a lot.
That's very honorable. I was being very sarcastic.
I know you were, but I think, and I agree with you, but there's actually some good stuff there.
Yes. And some
And
of
if
the films that we made, like, you know, we've done some small or obscure festivals, some international festivals. And I was like, wow, someone in like Italy liked our movie. Like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, it connected with someone in another country.
That's awesome. But you guys got flown to an international film festival.
We did. We went to
That's
Mexico City and we screened our documentary film there. And that was pretty awesome.
That was.
And they even translated it, subtitled in Spanish. So it reached a new audience that we didn't have.
Yeah.
Did it win? Did it win a prize?
I don't think there wasn't really judging.
I mean, I think for us, it was the prize of being in Mexico City for a few days.
Yeah, and
bitch, being flown and put up in Mexico, that's a huge prize.
It was cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's called Way to Kevin, and it's really interesting. I've never seen that subject tackled in a documentary before.
I have this feeling that it could potentially be a cult classic someday, but
we had this conversation maybe a week ago.
We did.
And I was like, I would love to recut it now. It's like, it's been, I don't know how many years. I'm a better editor now. I mean, I think I could rewatch all the original footage and find different things and kind of create a different, better story.
You should. I'll help out. I want to.
Yeah, we've determined that Erin just loves editing and wants to edit anything. She has all this free time.
Nothing else to do.
Wait a minute. Aren't you guys close to the Kevin, who's the star of it? Aren't you guys close to him now? So you could even shoot it. It's been like 10 something years. You can even shoot it now and see what he's up to now. Like extra 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. That's
dude, do it. Resubmit it, and now it could go on like Netflix or some shit like that. Like
the original footage is such nasty quality. It's this old.
I don't think that would matter. I think that would give it the charm. See, I love seeing pictures and video of the technology that represents the era, and unfortunately, that was like the end of the tape. You know, before digital. Like we had I forget what was it. What was it? DV video? Mini DV video.
And it doesn't matter because for that fucking what's her name? I want to go to rehab, and I say no.
Winehouse.
Yeah, her friends shot on actual videotape, and the documentary was pieced together from that, and the quality was shitty, and it was an Oscar. It won some Oscar for some stupid shit, and it was not great.
No, the film was documentary's different. Like, I feel like you can get away with found footage, which can be anything. And that film was completely strung together by cell phone videos and photographs and newspaper clippings. And it was actually, I mean, that's an inspiration for those who want to make a film. It's like, if you have some kind of basic editing software, take a bunch of shit and put it together.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. 100%.
How much we didn't talk about, though, with like finding a composer and music and wardrobe.
Oh, dude.
Makeup.
Working on a small What I was gonna say is working on a small film, you have to know if you're gonna launch a small film, and the three of us know this, and 3 of us have done this, you're going to do every single job on that set.
That's true.
You're going to do it. Every single job, from the filthiest to the most glorious. You're going to have to do everything.
However, with actors, there's a lot of very important things to remember. Is they need a lot of praise. They need their own trailer or room to prepare in. They need to be assured that they don't have to lift anything heavy or move anything. So I just want to point that out. Actors deserve a lot more.
But as an actor, and Nathan is a good actor and a trained actor, he's had to do he's had to do the shit jobs on sets too. He's had to move shit.
No,
he's had to everything. He just sits there and orders I need a cappuccino to me and Erin while we're lugging things.
Yeah.
Wait, we have a comment from a listener. I want to get to that in a minute. There's a point I wanted to make on collaboration. It's true. Finding collaborators is not an easy thing to do. You have to be a good collaborator yourself too. And you have to, when you find people to collaborate with, you have to understand, I think there's one thing that has helped the 3 of us and in other collaborations I've had is, no matter how dumb an idea is, there are no dumb ideas between collaborators. You never say to your collaborators, oh, that's dumb. you just go, okay, let me think on that. But what about the other idea you had? And you say that, and you like, you go with what you like.
You can say it the way Nathan says it. He goes, we could do that. Classic Nathan hates that idea phrase.
Say it again.
We could do that.
But we have come up with, and the three of us have come up with ideas that I know, like I've come up with an idea, and like you can feel it when the person thinks it's dumb. You don't go into it. You just keep going. But there's been dumb ideas thrown out there, because you throw ideas out there, and even if it's a dumb idea, it gets your juices flowing, and it gets you on the next thing. And sometimes a dumb idea later on, if you give it a twist and a little bit of a pinch and a flick, it becomes a really good idea if done in a different way.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, you don't put down your collaborators. You become a good collaborator, and you think, and you help each other's juices flow, and you don't stop things by getting mad, and you don't get mad when people don't like your ideas. And yeah, did I cover it?
Yes.
Yeah, good point.
I could answer the next question.
All right, read it first and then answer it.
What would you attribute your success in film festivals to?
You ready?
Ready.
Yeah.
Figuring out which festivals to apply for is the key to having success at film festivals. Knowing what your film is, who your audience is, and what kind of festival would like your film. If you know that, you will get into festivals. But it's not always cut and dry. You often can think that your project is beyond what it actually is, and you have to really, really know where you stand and where you're at.
I was going to say it's who you know.
That too,
and get Nathan to sleep with judges. That has, listen, you can get into film festivals, but will you snatch trophies like we do? Because I realize that we've had 3 films, and we should have done more. We have had 3 films that I see behind you that got into film festivals, and they all snatched trophies. All of them. Like, you can get into film festivals, but how do you snatch trophies at film festivals?
That's true. The Aerobatards killed.
That's the one you see between them, which is the greatest project. The greatest project, and we should revisit that at some point, because it literally is the greatest project.
It is, and we wrote up a whole deck, and we aim to try to sell the idea to make it a bigger thing, and we hit a roadblock and didn't try anymore, which is just on us.
We came up with a whole deck, CB Actor Traveler, and you know how difficult that is.
It is beautiful too. It is so gorgeous, and
it is a gorgeous deck.
We should revisit that.
I think you have to be excited too.
So just
you have to be excited.
It's like a
PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, your concept for the piece. Were it to be produced into a series or to something larger.
It's very visual, so someone can flip through it and kind of get an idea of the style and the.
It is gorgeous.
So on and so forth.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also wanted to say 2 more things about film festivals. Not only just to get people to see it, it's fun to go to film festivals, especially when you're like us and you snatch trophies, because people come up to you, not only like the people that are the organizers and everything, but people who just have seen the film, that have gone to the film festival. They're just audience people, and they come up to you and they say, "God, I loved your film. You were so great," or like, "This was so great. You wrote it. Oh, it was so good." Someone you don't know, someone who loves film, comes and says that to you, and you guys have to back me up. It's unbelievable. Like, there's no other feeling. You're like, really? Wow. I'm always so like, thank you so much. Like, oh my God, like, wow, thank you. Right?
Yeah, because the opposite side of that is, when we're done with festivals and we want to post on our personal social media accounts and we're excited to share with our friends and family, no one watches and no one comments and no one gives a shit. And that's such a sad, lonely feeling that, like, and yes, like, you're at a festival and people are raving about your project. It feels amazing. So
one thing I can say, so I did comedy improv for years ago. And still do it, but I had a project that was pretty regular for a while and had a lot of momentum and did a lot with it. And at a certain point, I stopped inviting friends. Like we would have a show maybe once or twice a month, sometimes more, but say once or twice a month. And I would invite my friends, just like, hey, I'm doing this thing. You're my friend. You want to show up? Here it is. At a certain point, you just stop inviting your friends and your audience will find you. And that's more satisfying. I don't know what it is. It's just like when someone's your friend or your family, like you're kind of just that.
I'm sorry, David.
And you tend not to believe them as much. I mean, not for any reason because you feel like they have to, but someone who walks across a room to come over to you and say that, they mean it because they don't have to. They could ignore you and you wouldn't even know them.
It's more genuine. It feels more genuine for sure.
David, I'm in
totally.
I just noticed your shirt. It says hump this.
Are you checking out my rack? That is so sexist.
And like the letter is not even straight.
That's right. Did you print that? I think the shirt got
No. I actually bought it in London, and because there's a thing, mind the hump. Because on the tube, mind the hump. They have I forget what they say. Something mind the gap and mind the hump.
Okay.
All right. And I want to say another thing. The second thing is if you're an actor, it is good to go to film festivals with films you are in. Because especially if a big film festival, to represent yourself and to get people, because other filmmakers want to see you, they want to know you, especially if they like your film, they will talk to you. It's a great place to network. But even I was at a small film festival with an actress I didn't even know. I didn't know who the hell she was, but other people knew her because there was a screening of her film that day. And she ended up in this crowd that we were in, and we all went out after the film festival. And she got like 3 jobs from that film festival because people just wanted to work with her. I found her to be a pain in the ass myself. She was a lesbian, and she wouldn't fucking leave me. I was the only one in our group that I said hello to her and I was civil to her, but I just kept ignoring her. I kept trying to talk to other people because she was drunk off her ass, and she wouldn't leave me alone because I wouldn't give her any attention. Go ahead.
How you got all your girlfriends in high school? Is that you were mean to them? And
oh my God.
They just
dude.
You.
If you're a dude and you like women, say hello to them, be civil to them, and ignore them, and you will get every single one you don't want. Every single one.
I just want to point
tell
out,
yourself I don't. What?
You tell yourself you don't want them, right?
Tell yourself I don't want this bitch. I don't want you. I don't want you. And it works for straight women at bars. Aaron, have you ever been in a bar and you don't want this guy and he will not leave you alone? That's happened with every girl I've been in a bar with.
All the time.
I remember I was with a girl. She was pretty. She was a pretty girl. And she literally said to the guy, I hate you. I will never go out with you. Leave me alone. And he wouldn't leave. He's like, yeah, you're just saying that. Come on. And I was at the point where I was gonna step between them, but I was laughing so hard because she was just like, you're disgusting. And he still was like into it anyway.
So this is a little depressing, but I just want to point out that Sundance it went virtual. So there was going to be the Sundance Film Festival in person this year, and it went virtual.
Oh yeah, and we're not going anymore.
Yeah, we were going to go on a project.
Oh, you were?
Potentially. We blew the lid off of that a few weeks ago, but yeah, they canceled.
Wait, a project you're in went to Sundance?
No, there was it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not happening.
It has nothing to do with what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that in person for film festivals is great. You get to meet collaborators. You get to get new jobs if you're an actor, if people like your work. And I just, really look forward to when that world is back so that we can, we can take boxes to new, in-person festivals and be there in person and watch the film with an audience. Like, I just really miss that and look forward to that sort of stuff again.
It's great. I'd love to go to film festivals.
This is a great question. So for someone just starting out who's never done this before, what advice would you give? That's an excellent question to wrap up this.
Can I be the first to go really fast? Can I just go really fast?
I think we should each give a quick answer and then get out of here.
Do what I didn't do. Learn how to edit and learn how to shoot. I don't care if you're the writer or the actor or whatever. Learn how to edit and learn how to shoot. Learn how to edit and learn how to shoot. And I know how to edit a little bit, but I should have learned better. Learn how to edit and learn how to shoot. And learn how to edit. Go ahead.
I mean, that's a good one. I would then say you should come up with a good idea that you're excited about and have a partner or a small group of people that are equally as excited and wanted to figure out. Filmmaking is just troubleshooting. So you're just going to be solving problems the entire time. That's all it is. Even when you're editing, every decision you make is a problem solve. So find those people that are excited, that will meet you at the same level of excitement, and that will see it through with you, and just figure it out, solve problems. Like, even if you don't know how to do something, figure out a way to make it work.
You have to figure it out. Yeah, things will pop up that you don't know, that you never foresaw, and you have to figure it out.
Don't know how to shoot something, maybe you like rewrite it, maybe come up with a different way to get around it.
Dude.
Maybe watch YouTube videos and figure out how to do it.
Dude. Oh, yeah, and after Nathan gives his, I have one more. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that from a different angle, to not be so precious about your first film, just dive in. Like Aaron said, grab a few friends or some collaborators, have your idea that you're excited about, execute it, and then complete it and see what it does. Like you may be the person who makes their very first film and it's this amazing thing, but probably not. You're going to then move on to the next one and the next one. And that, don't get overwhelmed thinking like, well, that's 4 months and then that's a year and then that's 2 years down the line. Like, your first project could just be a scene that you shoot. It could just be, learning how to shoot dialogue, how to shoot a 2-person scene. And just like there's so many resources available now between the proliferation of technology, so everything can be so simple, and there's so many resources that you can learn from, whether it's YouTube or whatever. You can make it as complicated or as easy as you want, but the important thing is to just do it and then do the next one
and manage your expectations.
Yeah.
Totally. And I agree with Nathan. Don't be precious on your first project. Remember, your first project is not going to look amazing. It'll probably your first 10 projects will probably look really shitty, but just keep going, learn from them. What looked good, what looked shitty. Like if 3 seconds looks good, take that 3 seconds and expand on it. And the biggest advice I have, which a lot of filmmakers fuck up on, and I've seen them turn what could be a great project into like a beige project. Find good actors. And if there's some actors who can breathe life into anything, when you find that actor and they don't fit your character, change your fucking character. Rewrite your fucking script. You're not making Star Wars. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to be like, I guess this project would have been better if it was a 43-year-old white woman. If you find an amazing 20-year-old black woman, make that the character. Change your fucking script. If you find amazing actors, it's not that, in LA, it's not that hard, but it's really hard. I think in other cities, it's probably harder to find amazing actors.
I think
but
it's harder to
find actors. Go ahead, yeah.
I think it's harder in LA to have actors work for free, because no one out there wants to work for free. In smaller markets like Philly, example, we're in Philly, there is a lot of talent here that's hungry that would work for free, but you do have a smaller pool to choose from. So there's good and bad depending on where you are.
And there's so much nuance. Like we can't get into it now because we're trying to wrap up, but what makes a good actor? I mean, you can take someone who has no experience and no talent. I don't want to say no talent, but no training, for example, and get an excellent performance out of them.
Just tell them to be themselves.
Yeah, if it's written in the right way and like the character is right for them, like it can just be sublime. But then that takes like being a good director and being able to identify that and to get that performance from it. Like it's such a collaborative experience. Like, and then there's talented actors who probably want to get paid. That's a whole other thing we didn't even talk about. That's like, you know, they're going to knock it out of the park no matter what they have. So
yeah, totally. But if you find someone who is just starting out, they just want footage for their reel and they don't want to get paid and they're an amazing actor, fucking use them. So I saw a project happen, a feature film, found one of the best actresses I've ever seen, ever. I was in on the audition. I was like, use her. She's not old enough. I'm like, change the fucking character. Nobody cares. Nobody knows this character. You just wrote it. It's out of your fucking imagination. Change the fucking character. Found an actress who was acceptable but not interesting. Didn't fucking get any of the jokes in the script. This other girl in the audition got every single joke. And she, you know, like she was interesting in places where she wasn't, like, it wasn't written. Fucking just, oh, that just infuriates me. And be a good director.
I'm getting into like directors being picky and having ideas in their head and wanting to...
No, don't have any. If you're a director, get rid of your ideas because you're stupid. And something Nathan said earlier, which is actually true, he was making a joke, but be a good director. You have to praise your actors on what they did right. Because I've seen this on small films a lot where they do something that the director's like, okay, cool, let's shoot another one. And the actor's like, did I do it right? Do you want me to do it differently? Praise them on what they did good. And if you don't like something that they did, don't say that was horrible. Say, hey, how about if you do it this way? But praise them like, hey, you did this well, so they know what to do. Because when you're on a small set, sometimes people don't know what they're fucking doing. And anyways, be a good director. That's all.
Thumbs up. All right. Are there any more questions? I'll wrap up.
Yeah, any more audience questions?
All right. So that was our take on indie filmmaking. If you have any other questions or follow-ups, reach out to us on our Facebook or Instagram at Unimaginary Friend. We will be back live in 2 weeks. So follow us to find out what that date is. And don't forget about our Patreon.
You can get a mug.
Oh, wait, there was this one more festival question I had to ask. It's really important. Do you guys consider yourself lesbian filmmakers?
No.
All right, go ahead with your wrap up. Sorry.
I did it. That was it. Wrapped up.
We wrapped
Wrapped up. A very famous actor said, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know what to do now.
You end the podcast, David.
David, it's all up to you.
I usually do extensive research on this. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I didn't prepare for this.
Read your shirt.
What? You know what? Listen, Aaron, I think you just checking out my rack the whole entire time is very sexist. There are things of which I will not put up with, bitch.